All right, all right, all right. Today we are talking about relearning. We're talking about relearning. Where are my glasses? We're talking about relearning. And so, one of the things that we talked about yesterday, we talked about three things: rewiring your mind, reframing our thoughts so we can have a different perspective, and then relearning. And I said yesterday we were going to come back to relearning. So let's jump right on in. And when we talk about relearning, what I'm specifically talking about, and thank you so much for joining, what I am specifically talking about when we say relearning is unlearning old behaviors and relearning things that will help us have a better experience in life. Okay? Unlearning old behaviors, relearning or doing things in such a way that we have a better experience in life. When you come in, please, if you deem this information worthy of someone else hearing it, tap your screen. As you tap the screen, you'll see a little bar go from left to right. It invites other people in, okay? So when we talk about rewiring our mind, and I just want to go over that very quickly, we're talking about shifting to success. We're talking about shifting your mental wiring to success. And there were a few things that we discussed yesterday, and the reason we talked about it was because quite often we don't realize we need to rewire our mind. As we're rewiring our mind, then that means we can reframe our thoughts. As we reframe our thoughts, that means that we begin to have a different perspective. However, we never, ever, ever want to stop short of, taking action, and that's where the challenge is. We stop short of taking action. So we rewire, we reframe, then we have to take action, which means we need to relearn. We unlearn bad habits, relearn good habits. What does that mean? That means that we are looking at things in such a way that we can have a better life experience. So today, I said yesterday, we're going to talk about some of the old patterns that you're going to give up. And today we're talking about new patterns. Today we're talking about relearning. As you come in, first of all, thank you guys for coming in. As you come in, please feel free to tap the screen. Let others come in. So transformation is not always about adding more to your plate. It is, first of all, when you think about it, if you add more to your plate than what you can handle, then my friend, you are not prioritizing. And that's the very first thing at the top of the list, prioritizing, priorities. So when you see me look down, I'm looking at notes. If you see me look up, I'm looking at my computer. Okay. So with that being said, what is the problem? The problem is we have a habit of overloading ourselves. What does overload mean? Let me give you an example right here. This is your plate. You're at a cookout. This is your plate. You've got potato salad, hot dog, hamburger, green beans, corn on the cob, crabs, shrimp, fish. You've got on your plate all that food. What's going to happen on the plate? Something's going to begin to tilt. As it begins to tilt, something has to fall off, right? So what we're saying now, what I'm helping you to appreciate is now we're not overloading our plate anymore. No, we're not overloading our plate anymore. What we are doing is prioritizing. What we will do is prioritize. Why? Because you've become stretched thin. As you become stretched thin with more projects, more information, your family, your job, your husband, your mate, you have to prioritize. As you prioritize, you begin to see what's important and what's not important, right? So the moment you tell yourself all of these things are important, the moment you'll be exhausted because you're not prioritizing. You have to prioritize. If you take a moment and look at all of the things that are necessary for you to get done, necessary, not I want to, necessary for you to get done, I guarantee you some of those things can be put to the side. So we have to prioritize. 80% of the results come from 20% of your actions. So instead of doing everything, let's prioritize. Okay? Let's prioritize. Number 2, self-doubt leading to inaction. Self-doubt leading to inaction. If you're continuing to doubt yourself, if you're continuing to look at things thinking that you cannot do it, you won't do it. Show me your thought process, I'll show you your actions. Show me your thought process, I'll show you your actions. Why is that so important? Hi, Mystic. Hi, Doretha. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Classy Miss M. Fun and fitness, thank you for joining, right? If you show me your priorities, I'll show you how much time you have. Show me your priorities, I'll tell you how much time you have. So instead of you thinking that you literally cannot do it, what I'm helping you to appreciate is that you can do it. Thank you so much for the follow. Please continue to tap your screen for the likes, right? I'm showing you that you are enough. Stop hesitating. Stop overthinking. Stop looking at things from, I cannot do it. I will not do it. I told you yesterday, this is how we look at it. We reframe. Even though I can't do it right now, I'm learning to do it. Even though my patience is short right now, I'm working on my patience. Even though I do not have this skill, I'm starting to understand and learn this skill. Thank you so much for the likes, right? So when we begin to reframe, there's no such thing as self-doubt. We just are learning. See, let me help you to appreciate something. There is something called skill versus will. Skill versus will. What is the difference? Skill means I have the appropriate abilities in order to do it, the resources. Will is, as I always talk about, will is based on, do I want to do it? Will is based on, do I want to do it? Do I feel like doing it? I always talk about emotions. Guys, when we begin to talk about emotions, the lines get blurred. And so why am I talking about this? Because self-doubt is a feeling. It's an emotion. I'm not saying you're wrong for having it. What I'm helping you to appreciate is that as long as you self-doubt yourself, you will always be held back. You will never have the opportunity that you're looking for. And if you never have the opportunity that you're looking for from self-doubt, then logic says, I need to adjust. What does that mean? That means that clarity comes from action. Clarity, thank you so much for the likes. Clarity comes from action and not overthinking. Clarity comes from action and not overthinking. So quite often it's not all about skill, it's also about will. And when we think about the will to do something, first and foremost, I always talk about discipline. I don't care about emotions. And let me just be honest. When I'm helping my clients to appreciate something, yes, I know emotions are involved. But when I begin to ask deep dive questions, I'm asking questions based off of logic. What is logic? I'll give you an example. Logic is 2 + 2 is 4. Logic says, I've been doing this particular piece this same way for the last 3 years. I have not gotten anywhere. I need to adjust. Emotions say, I know I've been doing it this way, but I'll continue to do it because I'm sentimentally attached to this particular piece. That does not help you if you're moving or if you're looking for a transformation in life, if you're transitioning from unlearning a bad habit to learning a good habit. Does that make sense? So when we talk about the bad habits, we're talking about right now self-doubt. Why are we talking about self-doubt? Because it's going to hold you back from opportunities in life. And if you're held back from opportunities in life, you will continue to overthink. You will not have the experience that you're actually looking for. Okay? Thank you all for joining. I appreciate the likes. What we're actually talking about, yesterday we talked about rewiring our mind. We talked about reframing our thoughts. If we can reframe our thoughts, then that means that we can relearn, which means that we are unlearning old patterns, bad habits, and we are learning new ones. If you take something bad out, you have to put something good in. That is what we're talking about today. So with that being said, another bad habit that we have, and if you see me look down and look up, I'm looking at my notes, I'm looking at the computer, right? Another bad habit that we have is doing everything ourselves and not asking for help. I stepped on a toe. Even though we'd like to believe that we're perfect and we're Wonder Woman, Superman, I know we all like to believe that. However, when we ask for help, what we're doing is saying, I need some assistance. I cannot carry this load by myself. I need assistance. I cannot carry the load by myself. Why can't you carry the load by yourself? Because you've already put too much on your plate, and right now you don't know how to prioritize. You've already put too much on your plate, and right now you do not know how to prioritize. What does prioritize mean? it means that I understand that this comes first, this is going to come second, this is third, and so on and so forth. What I keep telling you all is that we need a process to progress. If you do not have a process, well, welcome. My name is Dani Sheldon, your favorite life coach. There has to be a process in order for you to progress. And as you're progressing, your brain begins to unlearn an old process or an old habit or a bad habit, however you deem it to be. Nicole, I'm going through this now. Nicole, I'm here to help. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. Right? So with that being said, and Nicole, I'm going to pin you for a minute, darling, if you don't mind. With that being said, the transformation is about doing more. And I said yesterday, guys, success is not a destination. Success actually is a strategy. It's a strategy, right? We often think that we need to we got to add more to the game. We don't need to add more. We just need to understand that things take priority. And as they take priority, you have the ability, here we go, the skill. You may not have learned this skill. You have the ability to know and understand. And please continue to tap your screen if you feel this information worthy of someone else knowing it and they're looking for a life transformation. Please, by all means, invite them in, right? When you tap the screen, that's what you're doing. You're inviting others in. The skill piece is you have the ability or the capability to do it. And to be clear, guys, we don't all have the same skills. Some things we have to learn, we have to cultivate, and that is perfectly fine. I want to say this again because I think we get tore up in someone knowing and understanding that we may not have that particular skill. That's fine. That's what I'm here for. There is a process when you have a strategy. There is a process when you know and understand that this is what needs to happen. I can prioritize in order to get to the next level. See, what we fail to realize is that when we're looking at goals, right? Our goals are here. In order to reach the next goal, we have to understand skill and will. We have to understand it. There's a whole bunch that goes on from here to here. And as we are actually learning that information, then we, to some extent, begin to master certain skills. As we master the skills, we become ready for the next level. And as we become ready for thank you for the follow, I appreciate that. As we become ready for the next level, then that means we continue to master skill. We continue to know and understand the will. And when I say the will, what I'm saying is quite often the will to do something comes from emotion. We can talk about emotion, but we want to talk about logic even more so. Why? Because discipline and logic are closely aligned. Discipline and logic are closely aligned. Well, you may say, well, coach, how so? I'll give you an example. Discipline simply means that even when I don't want to, right? Even when the emotion says not to, I still do it. Logic says if I continue in this particular space, in this particular focus, in this particular effort, I will have this particular result. If I'm disciplined enough to continue in having this particular result or remain focused, I will have the result because I'm disciplined. I'm showing up. I'm committed, right? So when we begin to look at things from a logic perspective and we add discipline on top of it, there is no way that you cannot remove or unlearn a habit and get a new positive habit. Does that make sense? Does somebody hear me? Can you put a 1 in the comments? I want to make sure this is making sense. If it's not, I'll re-explain it, right? I can reiterate it, okay? So we do not have to wait for motivation before we take action. We want to go off discipline, but that is learned. Thank you, Bertha. That is learned, okay? Now, here is something. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. Here is something that's going to take us, when we start talking about motivation and action, this is going to lead us right into our next point. Just because we don't see results in the time frame that we are looking for does not mean we will not have the results. This is what happens. And I know somebody here is going to understand this. This is what happens. We decide, and I'm just going to use this as an example because this is something I've done. We decide that we want to lose 5-10 pounds. I got into the gym 5 times this week, and my expectation is that I should have lost 2 pounds. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is not the case. I decided I want to get a new computer. I need to save. Well, guess what? Just because I got a little bit distracted or just because something happened, it threw me off course, and now I didn't save the $100 that I wanted to save this week. So I stopped. Stop seeing a setback or a challenge as a signal to stop. That is not the signal to stop. That does not mean you stop. It may mean you need to adjust. It does not mean that you stop. Please continue to tap your screen, let others in, right? It does not mean you stop. It simply means that you need to, hey, Shay, thank you so much for the gift. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the follows, right? It does not mean that maybe this isn't for you. It simply means that I need to adjust. I need to reframe. Remember, yesterday we talked about rewiring. Yesterday we talked about rewiring our mind. Today we're talking about, and then we talked about reframing our perspective. Thank you so much. Today we're talking about unlearning and relearning. Unlearning the thought process that got us right here. You're right here because of a strategy that is not working. Thank you so much for the gift. You're right here. Good morning, sweetie. Thank you so much for joining. You're right here because something was not going as planned. Perfectly fine. What do we need to do? Pivot. If you're looking for the life transformation, that's why you're here. You've been following a process that is not working. If it's not working, sweetie, well, let's talk about it. Right? We have to adjust. And I hate to say this, but quite often, wait a minute, Heather, did you just join? Heather, how is the job? Guys, Heather started a new job yesterday. Heather, how are things going? Just let me know in the comments, Heather. So with that being said, guys,
Hi.
Heather,
Yeah, hi.
how'd you get on? Oh my gosh, I don't know how you did it.
I just went to your page and it said you were live.
Okay, so guys, Heather, I want you to stay on for a good 30 seconds with me. Guys, Heather was on yesterday, and when she was on yesterday, we were talking about rewiring our mind, reframing our thoughts, and relearning. Today, we're going back to relearning. But yesterday, Heather, I just want you to say hi. I just want you to tell us how everything went yesterday. How
Oh
did
man.
the first day go? Take a few seconds and tell us, and then I'll get
Yeah.
back into relearning.
Thank you having me on here because I love your live. I actually like made it a point to come here the last 2 days.
Yes,
So yesterday was my first day at a new job.
yes.
So I'm an insurance agent. It's,
Uh-huh.
there's a million jobs everywhere.
Yeah.
I got signed on with a really, really good upline, like a good FMO. And
Yes.
yesterday was training. And man, I'm so pumped about it. The
Yes.
second thing that I wanted to say was
Uh-huh.
okay, so I'm the type of person that doesn't have a routine, that doesn't like
Uh-huh.
start things in the morning.
Uh-huh.
I listened to what you said. And yesterday took my lunch break and actually like ate lunch. Usually I don't.
Uh-huh.
And man, like the dopamine relief release just from like being a normal person and like
Yes.
one more thing for myself that day. I thought
Yes.
about you.
Yes, Heather. Wait a minute, Heather. I got to give you some cheers. I got to give you some more cheers. Guys, did you hear that? Heather said, I did something for myself. She adjusted. Easy pivot, guys. So, Heather, when the dopamine was going, I just want to hear, did you have a fantastic day at work?
Yeah, everything was really, really great. Like I mean, I even woke up this morning feeling better than I did yesterday just from doing one little step. And today I'm gonna eat lunch too. Like, like I have a
Good.
terrible thing of just eating like one meal a day. Like I'll
Uh-huh.
just eat dinner with my family and eat
Uh-huh.
only that.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor tells me it's terrible and I need to do better. So,
Do
so that
better,
was the
Heather.
one thing
Yes.
that I took that I could do for myself.
Yes.
It's a healthy habit.
Yes,
Replace the bad habit of, just forgetting about my health during the day.
exactly.
And man, I
Oh,
really do. I feel so
Heather.
good today.
Oh, y'all, let me give Heather some cheers. Guys, please first of all, Heather is on here. She got a new job. If you guys didn't hear, she got a new job. Yesterday I talked about reframing, rewiring, and just doing things different. She did one thing different, and it literally changed her day. And guess what? She's back here today. She's back here today, and she's going to do that same thing or maybe something else different. But the goal is to do something different that will adjust your entire day. So, Heather, I want to say thank you. I want to say congratulations. I hope you stick around because we're talking about unlearning old bad habits and relearning better habits. Okay.
I've got 30 minutes before I have to start getting ready, so I'm definitely going to be here.
Okay. Thank you so much. Guys, give Heather a hand. Show Heather some love. Heather's going to drop, but thank you, Heather. Thank you.
How do I stop being your guest? I don't know how to do this.
Oh, you might have to. I don't know how you drop, Heather, but you got to do something. Let me see.
Here, watch this.
Okay. All right. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Ro, thank you for saying congratulations to Heather. Martha, thank you for giving Heather a high five. We really appreciate it. So with that being said, today we're talking about unlearning. The first thing we talked about was waiting for motivation to take action. That's not something we're going to do. We're not waiting for motivation. Why? Because motivation is a fleeting feeling. It fleets. It comes and goes, right? Oh, you're welcome, Heather. We talk about logic on this channel quite a bit. The reason I talk about logic is because logic says that when you have something and it is going away that you do not want it to go, that means you need to readjust. And as you readjust, as you pivot, guess what happens? You have the ability to start the transformation that you're looking for. So please continue to tap your screen. We're going to be here at least for another 10, 15 minutes to talk about relearning, right? So we've already talked about motivation does not work, right? We've already talked about just because we had a setback or a challenge, that does not mean we have to stop. Just because we had a setback or a challenge, it does not mean that we stop, right? So I want you to think about it like this, because remember now, we're continuing to reframe. We're continuing to reframe. So if you have a setback or a challenge, the very first thing I want you to say is, what is this teaching me? What am I learning from this? What do I need to do? Number one, get your pen and pad. What is this teaching me? What is this teaching me? What am I learning? Right? That's number one. Again, right? That's number one. Again, just because we have a setback or a challenge, it does not mean to stop. It means I'm learning from the challenge. I'm learning from, the setback. Number one question, what is this teaching me, or what am I learning from this? Now, as you learn, guess what happens? You grow. As you learn, you grow. As you learn, you grow. How can I learn? Good morning, Summer. Thank you for joining, sweetie. How are you? Right? How can I grow from this? What is the growth? What muscle am I stretching? And guys, I don't mean physically. Well, if you're a workout or a fitness person, okay. But what muscle am I stretching? Is it critical thinking? Maybe I need to think more. Maybe I don't need to be so emotional. Maybe I need to learn how to pivot. Maybe I need to learn how to adjust. What muscle am I stretching? How am I growing from this? Thank you so much for the likes and the gifts, guys, right? What is my next move? 3 questions. What am I learning? How am I growing? What is my next move? What is my next move? Why is that so important? Because you don't want to remain stagnant. All of those questions require you to think, and it requires you to take action. You are not to remain stagnant. And then how do we track what we're doing? Journal. Write it out. Write it down. Write it down. Guys, tap your screen. Get others in here. Get this information. I'm giving away free game. It's free. Right? So track it. Know and understand what it is you're doing. Look at the process, right? Look at your process. If your process is not going the way you want, that I am a life transformation coach. Transformation. What does that mean? That means that we are transformed. Anybody seen the Transformers? Listen, I know I'm kind of old, but the Transformers was out when I was little, and then they came out with movies. Transforming, you are adjusting your life. You are becoming someone else. As you are becoming someone else, you are creating a different experience. As you create that different experience, you are transforming. Yes, I love the Transformers. Thank you, Ro. Right? So with that being said, every single adjustment that you make, every single pivot, every single experience it is telling you something. It is teaching you something. Let's keep that in mind, guys. There is nothing that happens that is not teaching you. But if we're talking about specifics as it pertains to something you may be trying to do and you need a process so you can progress, or a strategy, then that's where I come in. If you do not have a strategy, that's why I'm here to help, right? If you see up top, you'll see DanieSheldon.net. I just put out a blog and a video. It's that video is like 15 minutes, right? If you sign up for the account is free. The newsletters are free, right? When you sign up for it and you log in, you'll see under the newsletters, there is a page. That page will actually take you to a blog. That blog, you click it, you'll actually see a video there. I will also upload that video onto my YouTube as well. But the point that I'm helping you to appreciate is that when we talk about a challenge, it is not a stop sign. It simply means we need to ask ourselves questions and do a deep dive so that we can adjust and we can pivot. Okay? Next, overthinking and never starting. Overthinking and never starting. I said yesterday, right? I said yesterday, success is not a destination. It is a strategy. If you want to be successful, you need a strategy. You're overanalyzing. You're pre-planning. It has to be perfect. It has to be this way. Baby, start. Simply start. I want you to do one thing today that's going to start you. You just heard Heather on the live. Heather said she did one thing. She did one thing that changed her entire day. Please continue to tap your screen, get others in. She did one thing that adjusted her entire day. That adjusted her entire day, right? I'm sure she stopped overthinking it. You know what that one piece was? She looked out for herself and actually had lunch. She thought about herself and actually had lunch. I guarantee you, had she not had lunch, she might have been cranky. She might have been hangry, right? Guys, start today. Let's start today. When I say start today, I don't like complex. As a coach, we do not do complex. We are not doing complex. And today is Wisdom Wednesday. Let me give you some wisdom. The more complex it is, the more you will sit and hold on to the idea. The more complex it is, the more you will sit and hold on to the idea. You ever seen the commercial for Nike, Just Do It? Just do it. I'm telling you, just start. Just start. As you start, it gets clearer. As you start, you will have clarity. As you start, you will build your confidence. As you start, you won't overanalyze. As you start, you're creating patterns and behaviors in your mind to help you learn this new way of life and get rid of the old way. Unlearn the bad habits, which are overthinking, low self-confidence. I have a just do it, stick it on my, there you go. Just do it. Just do it. Let me tell you why that phrase is so important. If you think about Nike, they've had that mantra for a long time. They've had that saying for a long time. What they're helping you to appreciate, thank you so much for that, Chef. Thank you so much. What they're helping you to appreciate is all you have to do is just start. Just do it. They made it so simple with the just do it. It's okay. Just do it. Right? So when we talk about overthinking and never starting, let me tell you I'm going to tell you what's happening right now. You're overthinking it so much so that you haven't started. And you haven't started because you're overthinking because you don't have the confidence. And you don't have the confidence maybe because you don't have a strategy. And you don't have a strategy because you really haven't sat down to kind of chart out and map out what it is you're trying to do. And the reason you haven't done that is because you've made it complex. Now, we had 5 pieces that you've done. And in those 5 pieces, you haven't started anything just yet. Thank you so much for the rose, Chef Songbird. I appreciate that. Right? So now we've gone through 5 pieces. And what I'm helping you to appreciate is you only need one piece. And what that one piece is, literally, is just to make a move. And here's the thing that I want you to understand. If you make the move and you're not sure about the entire vision, just make the one move. If you make the one move, it gets clearer. The clarity becomes even better. And then that takes you to move 2. And then the clarity gets even more clearer. That takes you to move 3. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what I'm helping you to appreciate is that as you make a move, it doesn't mean it'll be perfect. It means that you are actually taking action. And as you take action, things get a little bit clearer. Now, I talked earlier about skill. Not all of us have the skill to map something out. That's where I come in. I help you with a process so you can progress. Keep in mind, success is not a destination. It is a strategy. What is your strategy? What is your strategy to get from A to B to C to D? What is the strategy? Right? So as you create the strategy, the beauty of it is, and as you're taking action, the beauty of it is, you are unlearning old habits. I talked about this before. We have something called the reticular activating system. Look it up, baby. We are beautifully made. When I say beautifully made, we are made in such a way. Our Creator has made us in such a way that our mind has the capacity to do pretty much everything, right? But what we have here is something called the reticular activating system. Look it up. It is a filter in our brains that help us to see what is considered important and what isn't considered important, right? So I'm going to give you an example. When you begin to think about a new way of doing things, just the idea that comes in, just that one idea that comes in, if you linger on it long enough, it becomes a thought. Now, what's going to happen in your brain is, as you're thinking about a new process of doing things, the dopamine, the chemicals in your body you get energized. Because this new way of doing it is important to you. Hence the reason why some of you have tuned in today. It is important. You're looking for the life transformation, right? Because it is important, your brain is now looking for ways that you can do things differently, that you can have a life transformation. So what is it looking for? It's looking for someone who understands this is a problem. How can I fix it? It's looking for someone who can explain how this can be fixed. It's looking for someone who can know and understand how you can relearn things. I.e., welcome, thank you, and welcome, right? So with that being said, now that your brain understands that transformation is important, it's looking for a transformation everywhere. And until you get the proper process, it will continue to roam everywhere until you get a process down. Once you have a process down, now this is the beauty in how we're created. Once you have a process down, your brain says, oh, wait, this is it. This is it right here. I got it. This is it. Then your brain says, now that I've got it, let me continue to go. Your brain is looking for action. Your brain is looking for energy. Your brain is looking for all those things that you've been craving so that you can be successful at what it is you're trying to do, whatever your goal is. Right? And that's why I call you guys my goal diggers, GOAL digger, because you are trying to hit and maintain a goal. But before you do that, you have to have a strategy. You have to unlearn bad habits, right? So with that being said, when we talk about rewire, reframe, relearn, those are all things that you are capable of doing. You loved. Oh, good, Heather. Good. Thank you so much. Those are all things that you are able to do. You just need someone to help you get there. That's it. And so that's why I have my website here. That's why I have a newsletter. That's why I'm starting to put out more content. Because I recognize, one, because I understand it, right? Two, my bad habits is starting and not finishing. Okay, so we have a starter and someone that does not finish. Thank you for that, Chef Sonberg. I appreciate your honesty and I appreciate the comment, right? So then that means that we have an issue with a follow through. And if we have an issue with the follow through, again, that means we need discipline. We have to have some discipline. And in having discipline, that means that we will show up. We remain committed. But we take it one step at a time. We're not being overwhelmed. See, what happens is we don't prioritize. That was the very first thing I talked about when I got on here. Prioritizing. You show me your priorities, I'll show you your time. Show me your priority, I'll show you your time. Okay? We prioritize. Why? Because I guarantee you there's something in your day that's happening that is not priority, but you're still taking time to do it. Which means if I'm taking time to do this, I cannot concentrate on the goal that I started. Something has to come off of my plate. Quite often people think I need to add to my plate. We don't need to add to the plate. Yes, it's a hard lesson to learn. We don't need to add to the plate. We need to prioritize. What is priority? Thank you, Heather, for that. Thank you for your comment. Right? What is the priority? And so that's why when I talk about when I'm helping those that I support, when I'm helping my clients, listen, there is nothing worse than knowing and understanding you want to do something and you can't do it, or you haven't. I shouldn't say you can't. You have not done it. And the reason you haven't done it is because you've got 18 other things that are there. No, you don't need 18 other things. Let's take the things that you're focused on and do that first. Then we begin to habit stack. What is habit stacking? Habit stacking means I've already got 3 habits that I'm doing, right? These are already here. At the appropriate time, I can add on the next one because it then becomes a habit in my daily routine. Right? So just keep those things in mind, guys. So we talked about 3 things today in relearning. The bad habit, waiting for motivation to take action. No. It genuinely will become, let me see, y'all come in here in the morning while you start your day. It genuinely, yes. Yes. Heather's now got a habit, right? So most motivation before we take action. Absolutely not. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline. You know what? I'm going to scream discipline for the rest of my life, right? Why? Because action, if you're disciplined enough, the discipline will actually create the motivation. It will never start if I wait on motivation. It's never going to start. It's never going to start if I wait on motivation because I'm never going to feel like getting up. I'm never going to feel like getting up early. I'm never going to feel, right? I'm never going to feel like eating properly. I'm never going to feel like saving $100 to get a new car. I'm never going to feel, we are never going to feel it. What I'm helping you to appreciate is the discipline is what's going to get you there. The discipline. Yes. Listen, our brains are wired for comfort. Being lazy is easy. The brain is wired for comfort. The brain is wired so that I don't make a move. I like comfort. I like my snuggly. I like Netflix. I like just sitting here doing nothing. That's why it's such a battle when we begin to unlearn a habit. It's a battle because the brain is set up to keep you in comfort zone. And we've had the pattern of doing the same thing, 5, 10, 15 years. That's a pattern. It's a pattern. It's a pattern to be distracted. Listen, I'm going to say this and I'm going to hit on the next 2 and I'm going to let you go. We are not weak people. We just haven't trained ourselves. And since we have not been trained to think a certain way, that is a skill we don't have. And because it's a skill we don't have, then I'm looking here, I'm going here, I'm distracted. I'm helping you to appreciate that as long as you begin to train your mind and focus, I promise you, it will last. I promise you, you can maintain the goal. Right? We talk about 3 things on this channel: mind shifting to success, hitting and maintaining goals. And when you do those 2, you're going to get to the 3rd thing, which is a complete life transformation. Top 3 things I talk about all the time. I always start with the mind because that is where everything lays. If you can adjust that mind, you can adjust your entire life. But if nothing changes, then nothing changes. Okay? So let me get back. Relearning. We're sticking on relearning, right? Motivation before we take action. No. No, we don't need motivation, right? Commit to a 5-minute rule. Commit to focusing on it for 5 minutes. Whatever your it is. Easy. Guys, I didn't say we don't do complex, we do practical. We don't do complex, we do practical. It is practical for you to focus on something for 5 minutes. Begin to train your mind, 5 minutes. I don't care if you do it in the morning. I'm more of a morning person. If you wake up at 6 a.m., train your mind to sit there for 5 minutes and do nothing. Train your mind, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, stop seeing a setback. Stop seeing a setback as a sign to stop. It is not a sign to stop. It means that you need to pivot. It means you need to adjust. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I hate to say that. Some of you have cats. I'm sorry. No pun intended toward the cat. Right? It means we need to adjust. Don't continue in the same cycle. Don't continue in the same cycle. It's not yielding you results. Let me adjust, right? What is this teaching me? Yes, exactly. What is this teaching me, right? How can I grow from this? What is my next move? What is this teaching me? How can I grow? Critical thinking skills. Critical thinking. What is my next move? Critical thinking. And then we have to take action, right? So stop seeing a setback as a sign of a failure or you can't do it. No such thing. You can do it. We just need to adjust. Last but not least, overthinking and never starting. Let's not overthink. You're analyzing, you're preparing, you're planning, you're thinking on it, you ruminated over it, you talked to your family, you've talked to your friends, and you still haven't made a move. That's not what we're doing. Take some action. You don't need any more. You got enough knowledge. You've researched it for the last 3 days. You've researched it for 3 months. You've researched it 16 ways to Sunday. You've done it. Make a move. Make a move. You don't need more time. You don't need more knowledge. You'll get more knowledge as you go. Action is going to help you to be more confident. Action is going to help you to see clearly. Action is going to help you to put your foot in front of the next one and take the next action. Now, in all of these things that we've talked about, you definitely need a process. If you're looking for a process, if you're looking to know and understand how you could get things done, my name is Dani Sheldon. I am a life coach. This is what I do. But I refuse to not ask you some deep dive question in these sessions. I refuse that. Why? Because we need to get to the root cause. And as we get to the root cause, you begin to see that what happens is we're playing more on emotion than logic. And if you look here, you'll see DaniSheldon.net. Sign up, free newsletter. The sign up is free. The blog is free. The information is free. I do have classes. Yes, you're interested in a class, let me know. But all of those things are free. Why are they free? Because I believe that there is value in helping other people to know and understand that there is a pattern, there is a process, and you can be successful. Okay? Now, last but not least, what are we unlearning today? Tell me in the comments, what are we unlearning? Just need one thing to unlearn today. What are we unlearning? Then once you put what you're unlearning, go to DaniSheldon.net and create yourself an account. I'm putting more information there. Matter of fact, I'm filming today. Today, we're talking about something completely different on my video. Go to DaniSheldon.net, create the account. You will get information and details. Information and details that are free. If you want to join class, you certainly can, right? So with that being said, guys, what are we unlearning today? What are we unlearning today? Ashley, you made it. Okay, Nicole, procrastination. Nicole, thank you for that. Yesterday, we had someone on here that talked about procrastination as well. So Nicole says she is unlearning procrastination. Who else is unlearning today? What are we unlearning today, guys? Good morning, Ashley. Good morning. Good morning. Right? When we talk about procrastination, thank you, Random Citizen, for following. When we talk about procrastination, there's a reason for it. What are we not confident in? Why are we overthinking? Why are we overanalyzing? Right? Let's get to the root cause. Because procrastination is also a habit. We have to unlearn the habit. Right? So, guys, when we're unlearning something, when we're unlearning a bad habit, and keep in mind, don't get hard on yourself. These habits have made tracks and inroads in your mind. It is a pattern. It is something you've been doing for a while. Random Citizen, happy to be. How you doing, Random Citizen number one? Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. We're talking about relearning, unlearning and relearning, unlearning and relearning. Unlearn the bad habits, relearn or learn good ones. Okay? That's what we're talking about today. And we talked about 3 things before I drop. We talked about 3 things: waiting on motivation to take action. We don't need to do that. We'll never be motivated. Yes, replacing something bad with something good. We will never be motivated. It's not going to happen. So because we'll never be motivated, we don't wait on that. Motivation is an emotion. We don't rely on emotion. We rely on logic. Let me see. But when something gets out of order, wrecks my day. Don't allow it to wreck your day. Readjust. Readjust. Pivot. Pivot. Pivot, Ashley. Let's not see a setback. I'm going to have lunch again. Yes, Heather. So, guys, if you didn't know, Heather came on live this morning. She listened to the live yesterday. She got in. First of all, she got a new job, guys. So let's cheer. She got a new job. Once she got the new job, she came on the live yesterday. She actually did something for herself. When she did something for herself, she said it changed her entire day. And it was just one thing. That one thing was to have lunch with herself. She just wanted lunch. She did it. That pumped her up to do something else or do the same thing today. Right? Yes, she ate lunch. Thank you so much, Oracle. Thank you so much, Ashley. Yes, congratulate Heather. Guys, this is not just about I'm talking, telling you what to do. No, we want to congratulate. We want to ensure that as we have these wins, tell a team about it. This is Gold Digger. We are gold diggers. She hit a goal, right? She hit a goal. That goal was to do something for herself. When she did it for herself, she felt fantastic about it. Heather came back today to tell us about it. So tomorrow, I want to hear about what you guys unlearned and relearned. What did you unlearn today? Tell me something you're not going to do today. Let me see. I worked out 2 days in a row. Come on, Oracle. Yes. Look. She worked out 2 days in a row after falling off. That's what I'm saying. She fell off. But guess what? She didn't let that stop her. She got back on. Guys, when we're talking about hitting goals, we're not saying they have to be big, grandiose goals. That is not how this works. If the brain thinks it's too complex, it's not going to happen. If the brain thinks, thank you, Random Citizen. If the brain thinks it's too complex, it is not going to happen. Right? So when we break things down, I break them down so that you can do them one step at a time. Some of you all are very skillful, right? You want it 2 steps at a time. Perfectly fine. But what I'm helping you to appreciate is that as you have a habit, you have to stack onto that. If something is too complex, we get stuck in the loop. What is the loop? Okay, I'm doing this and I'm doing this. I'm not seeing results because it's too much. You've got 18 things on your plate at the cookout. You only need 3. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you getting this, right? Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you for the follow. right? So with that being said, guys, let's stop seeing setbacks in Oracle. Thank you so much for that. She had a setback, but she did it, she started, right? So let's stop seeing setbacks as a sign to stop. That's not a sign to stop. That just means we need to adjust. She adjusted. Okay? And then last but not least, overthinking and never starting. Let's stop overthinking. Let's stop overthinking, because that overthinking actually leads to procrastination. That procrastination is you will never start. You will never do it. Your breakthrough is on the other side of the action. But remain disciplined enough to remain committed. Be disciplined enough to remain consistent. Be disciplined enough to show up. Right? So with that being said, guys, we talked a great deal yesterday about rewiring the mind, reframing the mind, relearning. And today I went right back to relearning, right? So let's take out the bad, put in the good. So tomorrow, when I come on tomorrow, we're not going to talk about relearning, but I do want to hear some of the pivots that you guys did today. What did you pivot on? What did you have some progress on? What did you have success in? It does not have to be big, but keep in mind, we are stretching the muscle of discipline. This is all about discipline. I can't deal with emotion. Emotion lines get too blurry. This is all about discipline. Okay? If you want more content, please go to DanisSheldon.net. I am Dani Sheldon on everything, but I think this one is the platform I've been on the most, so this is where you see the most details. However, I've started to put information on my website, DanisSheldon.net, and I am carrying myself over to YouTube. I will upload the videos on YouTube as well, and these are long-form videos, okay? So please go to DanisSheldon.net, sign up, create an account. It's free. The things right there are free, okay? Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Heather, congrats again on the job. Oracle, congrats on working out. Ashley, thank you for being here. Y'all invited me to the cookout. Do not put raisins in everything, Heather. Thank you, guys. Summer, thank you for being here. Ashley, thank you for being here. Oracle, thank you for being here. Random Citizen, thank you for being here, guys. Thank you so much, okay? I will see you all tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.